Okay, if you've ever studied Spanish, you have almost definitely hit the wall that is the two past tenses, the preterite and the imperfect. I get it. It can feel like a total puzzle. But you know what? Today, we're going to crack that code together. So, this is the big question, right? Imperfect or preterite? When on earth do you use one and not the other? It's probably one of the biggest hurdles for anyone learning Spanish, and for good reason. It seems super complicated, but I promise, once you see the underlying idea, it all starts to click. So let's break it down.
I love this quote because it gets to the very heart of the matter. It's not always about finding the one single correct answer. It's about the story you want to tell. Think of yourself as a film director. These two tenses, they're just different camera lenses you can use to shoot the same scene in the past.
So let's start with that analogy, because it's a simple but really powerful way to frame everything we're about to talk about. From now on, you're not a student, you're a storyteller with two special lenses for looking into the past.
Okay, so here are our two lenses. The imperfect, that's your wide-angle lens. Think of it like a sweeping video camera, setting the scene, describing what was going on in the background. The preterite, on the other hand, that's your zoom lens. It's for capturing specific, crystal-clear moments, snapshots of key actions that actually push the story forward. All right, let's pick up that first lens, the imperfect, or as you'll see it, the imperfecto. This is the tool we use to build the entire world of our story. We're painting the backdrop that all the action is going to happen against.
The imperfect is all about describing the stage of the past. It answers questions like, so what was going on? What did everything look like? What was the general vibe? The key here is that the actions are continuous. They don't have a clear finish line.
Now, to make this really easy to remember, we can use this awesome acronym, WATER. It covers the 5 main times you'll use the imperfect for describing weather, age, time, emotions, and repeated actions. Let's make this our go-to mental checklist.
Let's see it in action. For weather, hacía sol. It was sunny. See? That's pure background description. For age, tenía 10 años. I was 10 years old. It's a continuous state of being. And for repeated actions, iba al parque, meaning I used to go to the park. Notice how all of these are just describing the general setting, not a single finished event.
All right, we've set our stage. It was sunny, I was 10 years old, and I used to be at the park. Now, it's time for something to actually happen. So let's switch to our zoom lens, the preterite, or the preterito.
So, if the imperfect is the stage, the preterite narrates the plot points that happen on that stage. These are the completed single events. They are the things that happened. They have a clear beginning and, most importantly, a clear end. They're done.
And just like we had WATER for the imperfect, we've got a great acronym for the preterite, SAFE. You can think of S for actions that happened a specific number of times, key plot points that advance the story, actions that are totally finished, and events with a clear start or end. Let's look at some examples here. I went to Spain twice, fui a España 2 veces. That's a specific, countable number of times. Yesterday I bought a car, ayer compré un coche. Done, finished, over. The war began in 1939, la guerra empezó en 1939. You can't get a clearer starting point than that. These are all definite plot points in our story.
Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. The true art of storytelling in Spanish isn't about using these tenses separately. It's about weaving them together. That's how you create a rich, complete picture of the past.
This timeline shows it perfectly. Imagine that long, continuous bar is the imperfect tense in action. Yo veía la televisión. I was watching TV. It's just an ongoing scene. And then, bam! That sharp point is the preterite dropping in. Cuando tú llegaste. When you arrived. A single completed event that interrupts the background action. This is the classic storyteller structure.
But here's where things get truly fascinating. For certain verbs, choosing between preterite and imperfect doesn't just change the timing of an action. It can actually change the fundamental meaning of the verb itself. This is a game changer. Okay, take the verb saber, which means to know. In the imperfect, sabía means I knew. It's just a continuous state of knowledge. You just knew it. But in the preterite, supe means I found out or I discovered. It's that specific moment of realization. See that? Two completely different ideas from the exact same verb.
And look at querer, to want. In the imperfect, quería means I wanted. It's just a feeling, a background desire. But in the preterite, quise means I tried. It's not a feeling anymore. It was a specific, completed attempt to do something. So just by changing the tense, the verb transforms from a state of mind into a specific physical action. How cool is that?
Okay, I know that was a lot, so let's boil this all down into a practical toolkit. A simple guide you can use anytime you're in a real conversation and have to make that choice.
So, when you're about to describe something in the past, ask yourself these questions for the imperfect. Was I talking about something I used to do? Am I just describing how things were or how someone felt? Was this action already in progress when something else happened? If you're answering yes, you're setting the scene with the imperfect.
And for the preterite, you just ask the flip side. Did this thing happen once or a specific number of times? Is the action completely finished, totally over? Did it interrupt that background scene we were just talking about? If you get a yes here, then you're narrating the plot with the preterite.
And look, if you remember only one single thing from all of this, let it be this right here. This is the storyteller's golden rule. You set the scene with the imperfect, describe the night, the person, the mood. Then you narrate what happened, the specific events, the actions, with the preterite.
Because ultimately, that's what this is really all about. Mastering the preterite and imperfect gives you this incredible power to not just talk about the past, but to bring it to life with detail, with drama, and with emotion. It really turns you from just a language learner into a true storyteller. So the only question left is, what story are you going to tell?